100 on that. And AC, I please see 38.
Oh, yes.
As long as it makes sense to me. My word of the day is fabulous. Fabulous. 100. Fabulous. 100. All fabulous today. Okay, you guys ready to go? When you turn it in, go right to the table of contents. We'll highlight the table of contents first. We're at 43, 44, and 45 today. So that's what we'll be highlighting. 43, 44, and 45. We are going to be here next week, but then that's it for winter break. So you are here next week, I hope, and then you'll get a 3-week break. And I'll see you next year.
You're already.
I can't believe it. I know, it's crazy.
This is a boring fast year. Hopefully next will be good.
I hope so.
Better fast.
Yeah, I hope so. All right. Here are 43, 44, and 45. So 1 pink and 2 yellow today. We're going to do the part 2 of the comma. That'll be 43. And 44 and 45, they're yellow. What part of speeches are yellow? Those are adjectives. So we got 2 adjective grammar lessons and 1 punctuation mark. That's why it's in pink. So 1 pink and 2 yellow. After you've highlighted this, you can go right to page 256. Page 256. Have your pink warmed up. Page 256. Yeah, I see.
Do you have a yellow at the
I
bottom?
do, yeah. I do. Anybody else need something? I have bonus extra.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody's good? Okay. So we've got 3 grammar lessons we're going to rock through today. I have 1 video that we'll go through with lesson 45 on verbals. And we'll talk about your homework for this coming up week. You've got the last test for the semester. That will be due next Wednesday. And there'll be a writing paragraph on the test. And that will be your writing assignment. So you won't have one due Monday. You can just turn that in on the test next week. Okay? So we'll talk about the test and the paragraph when we get to the writing part. All right? So that's what our time together looks like. Maybe some Christmas trivia thrown in there to make it interesting. You guys ready to rock and roll? Pink ready to go? You got a pencil handy? We'll do some practices. All right, let's go. Let's see. This is 43. Here we go. Okay. Close this a little bit. All right, so the vocabulary is just 2 for each lesson this time. There was a lot in the last group, but this is just going to be 2, 2, and 2. All right, so the first things first, up at the top, finale and finite. Those are your 2 words for this lesson. Finale and finite, right there. All right, finale, it's the last part or conclusion of a performance, and finite is something, it's just having definite limits or boundaries. A finite amount of something is a certain amount. There's a limit. All right, and here we go with the pink. So this is the comma part 2. Last time we were together 2 weeks ago, we did the comma part 1. More comma, here we go. All right, so this time you use a comma when you're talking about a noun of a direct address. That's not an address meaning where people live. That means in how you're talking about them. All right, so when you use a noun of direct address, name the person who's being spoken to, you use commas to separate that. So, for example, Mr. Hennyforth, or Henforth, comma. Do you remember which representative attending the Continental Congress had tuberculosis? I don't know. That's kind of a random, it makes sense. It's a government. All right, whatever. All right, but we use a comma after his name. Please, Maggie, we have commas surrounding Maggie here. All right, so we are directly talking to someone in a sentence, and we separate their name with commas. And we can also, at the end of the sentence here, we have Floyd here on the end. And so we have a comma to separate his name out. So in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. All right, that's a direct address. When you are directly talking to someone, all right? And you can use that if it's a more than one person. Control your anger, comma, Alexander and Aaron. And here, you're not even naming a person. Please, my reasonable colleagues, think about the example you are setting. So here we have them separated out by commas. We are still talking to a certain group, even though we're not naming them. All right? Okay. Now, so that was the commas part when you're talking about a noun. All right, now on the next page, appositives. Do you guys remember the appositives? You diagrammed a couple of them. The last time we talked about them, look at page 251. Just flip back.
Is this yellow?
This is orange. I'm sorry, this is supposed to be orange here. All right, look back at page 251, an appositive. Let's start, Laura Murphy. We're going to start over here with you, and then we'll just wind ourselves around the room. So read us, what is the appositive back on page 251? We highlighted it in orange.
And just the first bit on the top of the page.
Yeah, right underneath the box.
An appositive is a group of words that immediately follows a noun to rename the noun or give more information about the noun is called an appositive.
Okay, and so there are some examples there for you. So when you rename the noun, that is an appositive, all right? And so we already talked about that last time, and that's what this says here. Appositive is a word or group of words that immediately follows a noun to identify or give more information about the noun. That's what the appositive does, all right? So that's a review right there. Now here's an example. Rose, read this example here about William Churchill Houston.
William Churchill Houston, a representative from New Jersey. You want me to read?
Yes,
Attended
tell us
the
about who he
convention
is.
for less than 2 weeks because of AIDS.
Okay, so here, this is an appositive. It gives us more information about who? William Churchill Houston, okay? And you notice that there are commas that separate that appositive out, okay? So this example has commas right there. Now, Isaac, read the second sentence here about William Churchill Houston.
The second one?
William Churchill Houston vigorously. You can just read it right here. Just read it right here.
Oh. William Churchill Houston vigorously supported the steamboat built by the famous inventor John Fitch.
Okay, so here, thank you. Here we have another appositive, John Fitch. It tells us who this inventor was. Do you see any commas here? No. Okay, there's a reason why. So this appositive has commas, this one does not. All right, so if we look down underneath, we can see why. So this one, this number one, you see that number one there? It goes with this example here. All right, these are the same sentences. All right, and the reason that we have these commas here is because it is non-essential. It's a non-essential appositive. All right, you don't need that information. You could take out that whole appositive and the sentence would still make sense. In fact, let's do that. Rose, you read that sentence at first, didn't you? I know you want to read it again. All right, so take out the appositive, just chuck it out, and let's hear the sentence without it.
William Churchill Houston attended the convention for less than 2 weeks because of illness.
It makes complete sense. We got a subject, we've got a predicate, it's fine. So if the appositive is not necessary and you could chuck it out the window, then you use commas. All right, you use commas. And the second sentence does not have a comma, and it is because you have to have it. It is essential. You have to leave the appositive. The sentence has to have it. Has to have it. All right. If your sentence has to have it, then you don't need to use a comma. So Isaac, read this sentence here. Read this sentence right here. William Churchill Houston.
William Churchill Houston
vigorously supported the steamboat built by the famous inventor.
And then it ends. And you're left with the famous inventor. Which famous inventor? Who are they talking about? All right, so we have to have that name. We have to have John Fitch. So that's why there is no comma. All right. So if you do not need the appositive, is that commas or no commas? You don't need it. It's commas. If you have to have that appositive, don't chuck it out the window. Keep it in there. Is that commas or no commas? No commas. Okay. You guys got it. Now, let's turn the page. Back to our punctuation. Academic degrees. This is in the middle of page 258. Academic degrees. All right. So you'll notice that, now we've already talked about when you're abbreviating these academic degrees, then you use periods in there. We've already talked about that, all right, with abbreviations. And now with the comma, we need to know this right here. This is what's new. So after that list of examples of degrees, this is what you highlight. This is what is new. You use commas to offset academic degrees or other titles that follow a person's name. And you can see here, this is where we have the commas because we are separating out that name of that degree. Jonathan Dayton, comma, LLD, that's his title, comma, led the Federalist Party, blah, blah, blah. Notice there's a period and a comma in there. Do you see it? That is correct. Because we have the abbreviation, they need periods, and then we need the comma because we're separating out the title of that degree. So this is correct, both in there together. Okay? All right. Let's do some practice. So here on page 259, just grab your pink or a pencil, whichever you like. And in these sentences, A through F, you are going to put in the commas. You can use your pencil, you can use your highlighter. All right? And you'll separate the information in commas if it's a noun of direct address. If it's in a positive, watch out if you don't need it. All right? Or watch out if you do need it. And academic degrees. All right, so put the commas in here, A through F. Take another minute to finish, and then we will talk about these together. Where do we leave off with Zoe? Zoe, you'll lead us off with letter A in just about 45 seconds. All right, Zoe, letter A. You're just going to tell us the word that the comma comes after. So you would say the word comma. And if there's more than one, then you'll just tell us that for however many we need.
All right, I have delegates and then comma.
That's correct. There should be a comma right there after delegates. Right? Okay. Letter B, Josh, this one is you.
Professor Cameron, comma.
Yep. Any others? There is another one in there. Anyone else? Where does the other one go? Yeah, did you realize comma? So we separate out his name with commas. Okay. Yeah. Josh, read letter B without Professor Cameron in there. We put commas around it. Let's chuck it out the window. Let's see if it still makes sense.
Did you realize that Jonathan Dayton was the youngest delegate at the Constitutional Convention?
It still makes sense, right? So we could chuck that out. It would still make sense, right? All right, Andrew, your letter C.
Jonathan Dayton, comma.
Yep.
And then William Patterson, comma.
Yep, 2 in that one as well. Good. Back to you, Jacob. D.
Elias Udinot
Yes, comma, very good.
and Jonathan Dayton.
Yes, and another one after Jonathan Dayton. Good. All right. All right, AC to letter E.
Before and after PhD.
Yeah, so we're going to separate out that degree. And here we've got the period and the comma together. That's okay. And Caitlin, F.
Before and after PhD.
And again, before and after PhD. There we go. Good. All right, turn the page. Let's get a head start on your grammar. Let's do page 260, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so I like to review some of these just to make sure that you are learning them. All right, and did you ever notice on your homework that if you're questioning, what is that? I don't know, have we even talked about that? That each number has the lesson right there. Did you ever notice that? So if you need to go back and look at what was that, there it is. So 8, 9, and 10, let's go to Laura, number 8. Which adjective compares 3 or more?
Superlative.
It's superlative. Yeah, so number 8 is this. We're back to Laura M. Number 9, which adjective compares 2 or more?
Comparative.
Comparative. And number 10, Rose, which adjective describes, but it's not comparing?
Positive.
It's the positive. There you go. All right, jump down to number 16. Let's do some of these prepositional phrase practice. All right, so you're going to just underline each prepositional phrase and just put a star by the object of the preposition, the OP. All right, so underline the prepositional phrase and put a star, the object of the preposition. And I will tell you, you should get 4 prepositional phrases, in there. I got very excited about my 4 here. Let's do less excited. All right, there we are, less excited. There should be 4 in number 16, 4 prepositional phrases. So we left off with Rose. Isaac, can you tell us one prepositional phrase here in number 16?
Lives across.
It's not lives. Lives would be your verb, but across, yes, but finish it. What's the whole phrase?
Across from Trump.
Trunk. Yeah. All right, and what's your object?
Trunk.
Trunk. Yeah, so there's your object. Yeah. Zoe, what's another prepositional phrase here?
Down the street.
Down the street, what's the object?
Street.
Street. Okay. Josh, a third one?
The vegetable stand alongside the river.
Well, the vegetable stand, yes, but what's the preposition that goes with it?
Along.
Nope, that's a different one.
Uh,
From the vegetable stand, there it is.
yeah.
And then vegetable stand is your object there. All right, and then Andrew, last prepositional phrase.
Alongside the river.
Alongside the river, there it is. And the object,
River.
river. Yes, there we go. There we go. Yep. Okay. All right, let's do 17. This one is you, Jacob. The verb phrase, and we're going to name its tense in number 17. What's our verb phrase here?
Had been refusing.
Had been refusing. There it is. Now, what tense is that? It's 3 words. And they all begin with the letter P.
Past perfect.
Past,
Wait, participle.
not participle.
Perfect.
Past, perfect, and it's an ing, which means it is still going on. Progressive, yeah. PPP for number 17. Past, perfect, progressive. All right, AC, you get number 18. The verb phrase, and we're going to label it, is it active or passive?
Were piling.
Were piling, there it is. All right, is that active or passive?
Is it active?
If it was piling all by itself, yes. But since we've got this were here, that's a to be verb, that makes it passive. Active would be no be verb at all. John and his friends piled up bags of gold. That would be active. All right, but this is passive because we've got a to be verb here. All right, number 19, Caitlin, the verb phrase, and this time is it action or linking?
Grows restless.
Just grows is all by itself. All right, so there's the verb. Now, is it action or linking? And if you don't know, use the is test. So take out grows and put is in there.
Linking.
It's linking. Yeah, the is test works. So this is a linking verb. Yeah, this is a linking verb. Yeah. Buck is restless. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, so it's a linking verb here. Jacob.
With all the lessons in the book, like every once in a while it just switches, like all the questions are about a certain book and then it's all about
Yes, that's right. Do you know what are these ones about?
All of a while.
Yes. Yes. It does that just to kind of expose you to different literature. Yeah, it does. That's very observant. Have any of you noticed that before? Like the sentences are like about a certain book? Yeah. Yeah. I actually went through over the summer because I thought, I wonder if we could read the book as we're going through the grammar lesson, but sometimes they only do like certain books for 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, that's too short. We couldn't read a book in 2 weeks. So, but yeah, that is a very observant thing. All right, jump down number 27, last one on this page. The commas. Put in the commas where you need them. And I will tell you, you need 3. There are 3 places you need commas here. Laura Murphy, this is back to you. Tell us everywhere we need these 3 commas in this number 27.
Before and after Ivan cuts.
Yes, we're going to put his name surrounded by commas. And there's one more.
After Denver.
After Denver. Separate your city and state. Very good. All right, to the diagrams. All right, so let's start with your highlighting. Let's do the highlighting. Number 28. Oh, number 28 should be easy to highlight. All right, and remember, it's been a couple of weeks. So the first thing you should always find your subject, find your verb, and if it's an action verb, find the direct object. Those 3 things. Everything else can kind of go around those things. Subject, verb, a direct object. Or if it's a linking verb, then maybe it has a predicate noun or a predicate adjective. That will be after the linking verb. All right, you can do 28. I'm going to do 28, 29, and 30. We'll bust through them real quick. Super duper fast. Actually, you know what? I'm going to unplug this while you guys work on it. Then I'll do it on here. And then I'll let you see the answers. So do 28, 29, and 30. You guys almost done? You guys are ready to go? You want to see? All right. There we go. All right, so 28, Dan and Ann are your subject, have decided, is your verb. And to stay is a direct object, and you can put a little infinitive there to make sure that you diagram it as an infinitive. Number 29, what is the subject of 29? Cartoonist. You had to read a little bit before you got to that. Did give. There's your verb. That political or adjectives. We have an indirect object, president. We have a direct object, benefit. Our and the are adjectives here, and we have a prepositional phrase. All right, and then number 30, what's my subject? Anybody? Player. What is the verb? Avoids. All right. And we have both gloating and complaining, which is going to be a direct object, crayon. That's going to be a direct object, crayon, because we've got a both and correlated conjunction. All right, so it's going to be a crayon there. And gloating and complaining, I noticed that they have an ing, so how will you diagram those? As gerunds. Yeah, they're going to walk like an Egyptian on in that, in your diagram. All right? Good to go?
Yep.
All right. You should be good to go to diagram this. Let's go to number 44. All right, number 44. This is going to be yellow. What color is our yellow then? What part of speech? Adjectives. Yep. All right, so up at the top, overused adjectives, and this also can be yellow. Unnecessary articles. All of it is yellow. We're talking about adjectives in this guy. Overused adjectives, unnecessary articles. We have 3 vocabulary here. I know I said 2, 2, and 2, but one of these is not a word. It's just reminding you of that one of them is not a word. So we have anyway, we have any way, and we have anyways. Which one of those is not a word? Anyways is not a word. All right, so make sure that you remember that. All 3 of those will be on the quiz next week. All right, let's get ready for a funeral. Let's get ready for a funeral, y'all. All right, these overused adjectives from this day forward, they are dead to your writing. All right, I put a little RIP here. RIP, this is a little tombstone. Don't use these in your writing. Just the 5 that I've circled. Now, here in the grammar book, they have included terrible, awful, rotten, and wonderful. I think those are good adjectives. I'm okay with those. They don't have to die. But these are dead to your writing from here on out. Great, nice, good, bad, neat. Those 5 you can no longer use in your writing. They are not strong enough adjectives. They're not interesting. We can do better than that. All right? You can still use them when you talk. But in your writing, at least for me, these adjectives are dead to you. Great, nice, good, bad, and neat. All right? And since we're on this subject, did you guys bring your writing books with you today? I wrote a note to you. Pull your writing book out real quick. I don't want to forget to do this. I always forget. I'm not going to forget this. All right. Pull your writing book out. On the front cover, see, you just open it up. Look at this big old clean white cover. All right. I want you to draw a big old circle and a slash through it. All right, so these are going to be words you don't use in your writing. Here they are. Big old circle with a hash. Hash through it. All right. A big old circle with a hash through it. I don't want to forget to do that this time. So these are words you don't want to use in your writing. And the first 5 to go in here are these 5 right here. Good, great, bad, nice, and neat. All right, so you don't use those anymore. We're going to put them right there in your writing book so that it's right there for your reference. Pull that thing out and remind yourself of these. I've got a few more. I. You can't use I in your essays anymore. You can't use I. Me. Don't use me. Don't use you. All right, and don't use thing. And don't use stuff. Stuff. I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many do you get? You should have 11. Do you have 11? No, that's. How many do you guys have? 10. Oh, there's one more. It's a verb. It begins with the letter G. Get. Yes. Don't use get. That's the last one. All right. So these 11 words from here on out, they are dead to your writing. All right. Don't use them. Jacob.
So what if it's like dialogue and like you're talking to somebody else in your story and you say you need to go do this stuff? Is you allowed in that sense?
You is, so you would not use dialogue for you in the sentence. If you are quoting from a story, then yes, you have to quote it from the story. Then these are okay. But that is the one exception. Does that make sense? That's a terrific point to make. If it's in a quote, it's okay. If it's coming from your big, beautiful brain, then no, you can't use these words. All right? It's just, we can use better words than these. And when you write an essay, we already know that you're writing it, so you don't need to use I, me, and you. You need to be more formal than that. All right? Get, you can do better than get. Stuff and thing, be more specific than that. And then these are just not, we can do stronger adjectives. We can do a better job with this. All right? I didn't forget this time. Okay. So we had a little funeral for those. All right. All right, so down here at the bottom of page 263, do you see where, we're back in the grammar book. Do you see where they have these italics, good and bad? George Whitefield was a good preacher. This apple tastes bad. What would be a better word than good? That's not very strong. Amazing.
Terrific.
Terrific. Affluent. Is that what you said?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Excellent, but whatever you said.
I thought you
I
said
guess.
affluent. Excellent is also excellent. Okay. Dynamic. Religious. What about this one? This apple tastes bad. We can do better than that.
Awful. No.
Awful. See, I'm okay with awful. They put it on the list. I'm like, no. I'm okay with awful. See? I didn't circle it. It's not dead. Keep awful alive. It's good. It's amazing. All right. What else? The apple taste. Disgusting is so much better.
Horrible.
Horrible.
Moldy. Horrendous.
What is it? Horrendous.
Moldy.
Moldy. Ugh.
Like eggplant.
Okay, those are way better than bad. Turn to page 264. Turn the page. So here are some examples right here. All right, so if you're not sure what you should say, well, here are some examples to get you started. So these for A could be for terrible. These for B could be for good. C for bad. And D for nice. These are much better adjectives. They are more descriptive. They're more specific. They're stronger than these four. Although terrible, I'm okay with terrible. Terrible is still alive. We're not going to kill it.
They want to.
They do. I think terrible is a good one. A better one. Okay. All right, let's talk about unnecessary articles because it's in the book. So we have to mention it even though you're going to look at this and you're like, Miss Meese, of course, that I would never say that. All right, so unnecessary articles just means, like right here, we do not use the before both. All Alright, the is an article, it's unnecessary. You don't need it. The both of them represented Pennsylvania. You don't need the here. You can just say both. Give the both of them your opinion. You don't need the, just say give both. And it's the same with a or an. Alright, you don't need that in front of kinda, sorta, typo. Alright, James Madison was that kind of a politician. Alright, you don't need it there. You don't need it. Just say that kind of politician. Did you like that type of a movie? You don't need it there. Just say, did you like that type of movie? Alright, simple enough. Okay, so let's do a couple more on the grammar. Turn to page 266. We're not going to do the practice with this because you're going to get practice with your writing from here on out. I know you're going to practice not using those, so we'll get practice in. At the top of page 266, number 7, where did we leave off? Working our way around the room. Let's start with Zoe then. All right, because you're right there. Number 7. All right, is this a phrase or a clause with his wild brothers in the wolf pack?
I would say that is a phrase
Yes, how do you know?
because there's no subject and there's no verb.
All right, if it's a clause, it's got to have both a subject and verb. This does not, so it is a phrase. All right, let's go to Josh. Remember, number 8, a transitive verb has a direct object. All right, so we're going to look for the verb phrase in the sentence, and we're going to label it transitive or intransitive. All right, so this sentence here, what's our verb?
Are talking.
Are talking. Okay. Is it a transitive or intransitive verb? And the way you know, is there a direct object? There is. Is there anybody? No, there's not. All right, so is it transitive or intransitive? Intransitive. There you go. All right, good. Jump down to 15 and 16 down at the bottom. Andrew, number 15. What is the verb phrase? And name the tense. This is number 15. Verb
Led.
phrase.
Led. In 15.
Yep. Led for number 15. And then what tense is that?
Past.
It's just past. That's it. One word, past. You got lucky on that one, Andrew. Yep. Number 16, Jacob. All right, the verb phrase and label it action or linking this time. Became. All right, is it action or is it linking?
Action.
Use is. The is test. Take out became and put is in there. Jack London is a hobo. Does that still make sense?
Yes.
It does. So that means, is it action or linking? Linking. Use the is test to help. All right. Number 19 to AC. Number 19. This is what we just talked about. What is the overused article in this sentence?
The.
Yeah. Shall we seize the both of those runaway geese? We do not need the. There. We do not need the. And Caitlin, jump down to number 22. All right, so this one, here we go. Those noun jobs, y'all, they're going to haunt you this whole year if you don't learn what these are from lesson 37. We did a whole sticky note about this. If you do not know these, you better learn them because they will haunt you the rest of this year, I promise. It's better just to memorize what these are. So, Caitlin, is the italicized noun, is it a nominative, is it objective, or is it possessive?
Possessive.
It's possessive. What gives it away?
The apostrophe.
The apostrophe S on that. Yep. All right, number 23, back to Laura M. Use an appositive to combine these two sentences. So you're going to create an appositive, which is information about the subject. So we have these two sentences. How can we make that one sentence with an appositive?
And he, like, instead of using false again, we can just do and he is a scholar.
And nope, you want to put information about him in the first sentence. So we want to keep Faust expresses his indescribable discontent. Now the second sentence tells us something about him, doesn't it? What is he?
Scholar alchemist.
He's a scholar alchemist, right. So we can say Faust, comma, a scholar alchemist, comma, expresses his indescribable discontent. And now we've created an appositive. Do you guys need that again? You got it? Rose, number 24. What's the verb phrase, and is it active or passive?
Was attempting.
Was attempting is correct. Is that active or passive?
Active.
It is active. Yeah. There we go. All right. We're going to do the diagrams. Oh, man. I'm going to give you a gift on this one. On your homework, I will put on the website, right website here, right website. I will put in the folder, I will put the diagram frames for all 5 of those. All right? And then you can just copy what they are and just fill in the sentence. How about that? I'll give you a gift. All right? Just put website to remind you to look in the folder on the website for the frames, and then you can copy those and just put the words in. Sound good? All right. Here's a little Christmas break. Christmas break. Let me figure out which one it is. It's this one. All right. So, are you familiar with Christmas carols at Christmas time?
No.
Maybe. All right. Number 1 is a Christmas song. What is it?
Jingle bells.
Jingle Bells. Number 2,
Christmas.
Walking in a Winter Wonderland. That's correct. What about number 5?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's it. Number 6. Can you see it?
A police.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get it.
I see the Yosemite National Park thing right here.
Yes, that's part of it. What is that? So it's at Yellowstone National Park. It's a geyser. Do you know the name of that very famous geyser there?
It's Oh Come All You Faithful.
It's Oh Come All You Faithful, right. The guy, what is the name of the geyser? Old Faithful. There you go. All right, number 9, this one here. Not Away in a Manger. That's a good guess. Here's your clue right here. It's a name question mark. No, that's another good guess. Yeah. It's a name question mark. That's the clue.
Oh, I know what it is. It's What Child Is This?
What child is this? Right. We don't know what child is this. All right, number 10.
Oh my gosh. It's the Wise Men.
Yes. We Three Kings. There you go.
Why are they tiny?
I don't know. They're like itty bitty smaller than grass. Yeah, I don't know.
Honey, I Shrunk the Wise Men.
That's what it looks like. All right, we got one more lesson to go through. This is a big one. Number 45. Number 45. Ooh. Oh, can you get that? No.
Yeah, I think I can get it.
Miss Meese, that's way small. Yeah, sorry.
I think I can get it.
I can't get that. Let me see if I can get it bigger. All right, I have to move it back. All right, so what color are we in now? Yellow. All right, so we're going to talk about infinitives, verbals. We're going to talk about verbals. And we're going to review, and we got a video. It'll make sense here in just a second. Let's start with the vocabulary. Just 2. Just 2. We've got conjecture and trajectory. Conjecture means to throw together a theory based on few facts. It's a guess. Conjecture is a guess. Trajectory, when you hurl across, it's the curved path taken by a projectile such as a missile, a meteor, or a bullet. Trajectory. There we go. All right. Verbals. What little word do you see in this word?
Verb.
It's a verb. It looks like it's going to be a verb, but it's not. All right? We've talked about these before, verbals. Let's go back to page 93 real quick. Hold your finger here in the verbals, lesson 45. Go back to page 93. Go back to page 93. All right, this was the first verbal we talked about. What is it? The gerund. Yeah, the gerund. Let's go to AC. So AC, read to us on page 93, underneath the box, what a verbal is.
A verbal is a verb form that does not function as a verb.
One more sentence.
Rather, a verbal may function as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb.
All right, one more sentence, actually. Yeah.
There are three kinds of verbals: the gerund, the infinitive, and the participle.
All right, so it's going to look like a verb, but it is not acting as a verb in that sentence. It can be a noun. We've talked about those. Today, we're going to talk about how they can also be adjectives. All right, there's a second kind of verbal we've already talked about. We've talked about the gerund. What's the second one we've already talked about? The infinitive and beyond. All right, so look at page 112. 112. All right, 112. So, Caitlin, please read the infinitive right underneath the box, just to remind us what type of verbal this is.
The infinitive, like the gerund, is a verbal, a word that is formed from a verb but does not function like one.
And there we go. Okay, so now back to page 269. Okay, so the infinitive, there's a dead giveaway. How do you know when you're looking at an infinitive? Two. All right. So here in the middle, this is in yellow. Infinitives. We have learned that an infinitive can function as a noun. That's what we've seen them as previously. Now we're going to see the infinitive can also function as an adjective. All right, so we're going to see that in this lesson. Okay? So the infinitive as a noun, that is like the subject. We've seen this before. To shout might wake the fugitives. And then I wrote a little silly sentence. To chew is his passion. This is an infinitive as the subject. That's the noun. Now as an adjective. This is no time to shout. Okay, to shout is describing what time it is. In this sentence, give the dog a bone to chew. To chew is describing the kind of bone. So now the infinitive can also be an adjective. Okay? Look at these down here. Here's just some examples in yellow. To ask is describing cicerone. To please is describing desire. To win, describing determination. All of these are infinitives. There's that to. That gives it away, and they're describing a noun. Here's a silly example. The cow's need to burp is strong. All right, so here we see the infinitive to burp describing need. The frog likes flies to eat. There's the infinitive, and it's describing the flies. Okay? All right, so how do we diagram these? Well, you diagram them like an infinitive, so you put them on a lounge chair. They're hanging out, relaxing, chillaxing in the sentence there. And they are underneath the noun they describe, just like in the example. Ben Franklin is the diplomat to study. So to study is describing diplomat. Here it is in its lounge chair underneath diplomat. All right. Look at the very bottom of this page. Would you like to rest? Anytime you see a question, always reword it as a sentence. It's much easier to see the parts in a sentence rather than a question. So you turn this around. You would like to rest. Okay. So we have an infinitive here, to rest. But in this sentence, it's not acting like an adjective. It comes after the verb would like. You would like what? To rest. So in this sentence, it's acting like the direct object. Okay. But in this sentence, you would like a couch to rest. Here we see the infinitive again, but this time it is an adjective because it's describing the couch. So be careful. It can be the same infinitive. In one sentence, it is still acting like a noun. In another sentence, it could be acting like an adjective if it is describing a noun. Isn't this great?
Yes.
Yes, it's so awesome. All right, let's talk about one more thing, and then I got a video for you. Turn the page. Let's talk about participles, baby. Participles, here we go. We haven't talked about these before. This is the third verbal, participle. The participle. It is a verb form. All right, it looks like a verb, but it is not the action in the sentence. Usually, it ends in ing or ed. It can also end in an en, a d, or a t. All right, here's some examples. Highlight these in these example sentences. That crowing rooster annoys me. So in the sentence, the verb is annoy. Nothing is crowing in the sentence, but there is something annoying in the sentence. But it's not the grammar. The grammar is not annoying. The rooster is annoying. Crowing is describing the rooster. What is crowing as a verb? Tell me what it is. What is crowing? Use it as a verb. What would it be as a verb?
Crows.
Crow.
The rooster
Yeah.
crows.
Yeah, you just say crow, right? The rooster crows. Yeah. Arr, 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 or whatever it is. I don't know. Arr. What does a rooster crowing sound like? Arr, arr.
Gobble gobble.
Okay. So it can be a verb, but it's not in this sentence. All right, let's look at the next one. Spoken words. What is the verb of this word right here? He spoke words, speak. So you can do that. That is an action, but it's not acting like the action here. It is describing the kind of words. What about this one right here? The bent lightning rod. What is the verb for this? The verb form for this word right here? Bend. Can you do that? Bend steel with my bare hands because I'm so strong. Yeah. I got it right here. Can you bend this marker? You'd be so impressed if I could, wouldn't you? But I can't.
I think it explode.
Can you bend this paper? Look how strong I am. I'm going to bend this paper. It's an action. You can do it. Bend the paper. But is anything bending in that sentence? No. It is just describing the lightning rod here. Okay? Let's look at a video. Yes. Woo! Here we go. The video, Miss News, is the video on the website? Yes, it is. If you want to go back and look at it again, whoop, not that one. You can. Oh no. Yes, we do. We agree. We click. We agree. Now let's continue. We're good. Yeah. Okay. There it is. The video for you. Here we go.
Today we're going to talk about verbals. And by the end of the video, you should be able to define and identify verbals in writing, especially gerunds, participles, and infinitives. So let's just get started.
Let's just get started.
A verbal is an umbrella term for words that look like verbs and might normally be verbs, but are actually behaving like a different part of speech in that specific sentence. Verbals are not the main verb. They're not the simple predicate of the sentence. They're just additional describing words. In fact, you can kind of think of verbals as verbs that are in disguise as something else, because they look like verbs but are not being verbs in that moment, or verbs with an identity crisis. And as I mentioned a moment ago, there are three kinds of verbals: infinitives, gerunds, and participles. In this video, we'll be discussing all of these examples, and in these sentences, the yellow verbs and helping verbs that you see are the main predicate verbs, and the other colors are different types of verbals. The first verbal, and the one that I think is actually easiest, is the infinitive. And it's a verbal that's in a to blank format. For example, in our sentences, to attend, to leave, and to get are all infinitives in that to something format. They're unconjugated verbs, or ones that have not been put into any tense. These look closest to present tense because we haven't put them into future or past or anything else. They also help clarify the verb that is the main verb. So if I'm going, well, what am I going to? I'm going to attend a party. What do I want? To leave soon. And what does the team want in this sentence? To get revenge. So these are not the main verbs, but they are kind of helping clarify what the main verb is. The trickiest thing about infinitives is to not confuse them with prepositional phrases. In other words, don't get thrown off by the word to. Just because the word to is happening in a sentence doesn't mean it's automatically a verbal. For example, in the sentence, I am going to attend a party, I know that's a verbal because the word to is next to a word that's usually a verb, like attend. But in some sentences, the word to is the beginning of a prepositional phrase, like to the party, which is to and then a noun. And this is totally different than a verbal. The next type of verbal, and the one that I think is second easiest to identify, is a gerund.
Let's jump ahead to the participle.
These are verbals with ing on the ends that are acting like nouns.
Okay, we're going to jump ahead to the
finally-
participle. There we go.
And
This
finally,
is new. This is for today.
participles. Those are verbals that are behaving like adjectives. They're describing a noun. And because they're acting like adjectives, they're usually located right before a noun, just like an adjective would be. Here, dropped and took are just verbs. But if I take the broken screen to go get fixed, the word broken in this case is a participle.
Yeah, what is the verb for broken? What would you say? He broke something or you break it. So it can be a verb, but not in this sentence, right?
Now, broken could be a verb in another sentence. If I have broken or had broken something, then it might be a verb. Right now, I'm just talking about a screen that is broken. Or which screen? The broken one. Number 2, the missing library book was found under the bed. In another sentence, the word missing might be a verb, yeah. But here, it's just which library book? The missing one. Now, it's just describing. And finally, the baked goods were sold out by the end of the fundraiser. Which goods? The baked ones. Right now, the word baked, which could be a past tense verb, is behaving like an adjective.
Okay. All right, and go back to page 271 in your grammar book. If you want to watch the rest of that video, you can. It's in the folder. Yes. All right. There's one more little thing we want to talk about, and that's how to diagram them. So on page 271. So this is how you would diagram a verbal. So it definitely goes underneath the noun it describes, and it's on this kind of lounge chair looking thing. We've seen that before. And we write the verbal straight across. Singing. Okay. The singing lady. The stolen vehicle. All right, so it's on a lounge chair looking thing, but we write the word straight across, that verbal. Or, yeah, the participle here. All right. And then if you've got more than one word, having complained, because it's describing I, then we write it. It kind of looks like a prepositional phrase. Having complained, just like that. All right? Now, on page 275, I'll give you another gift. I will put the diagram frames in the folder. So write website here to remind yourself to look at the website. And then you can look at that for the frames for those diagrams. Okay?
Yep.
All right, you guys need a break. Why don't you stand up? Why don't you go get a drink of water? If you need to use the restroom, go do so. We've got a little bit of writing to talk about, and then that'll be it for us today. Okay, I got a few more of these Christmas things. See if you get these. All right, so number 3. It's a Christmas song. Can you guess?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus is coming to town, right? Number 4?
Joy to the world.
Joy to the world. What about number 7?
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Yep, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Number 8.
12 Days of Christmas.
That's a good guess. Nope.
Oh, Christmas tree.
Oh, Christmas tree. It's Christmas trees with
Oh, it's a tree.
O's.
Why are they?
Oh, oh!
Okay, that makes sense.
Number 11,
Break the halls.
deck the halls. That's right. And number 12,
I saw 3 ships on Christmas Eve.
yeah, I saw 3 ships a sailing.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Very
That's a
good.
Christmas song.
That's a song. It is a Christmas song. Yeah.
I never even heard of it.
Yep, it's a Christmas song. Okay. Let's talk about your next test. All right, so you got one more test. It'll be test number 7. We're going to skip over test number 6. All right. So you have one more test for this semester. I'm not going to make you do it over the winter break. We're going to go ahead and do it this week, and you'll turn it in next week. Part of the test is a literary analysis paragraph, and it is going to be about theme. Okay, and this should look familiar. You've done this one before a few weeks ago, but it's a different story. Christmas Day in the Morning is the name of this story, and there's a link for it in the folder. Okay, so let's talk about this right here, because this is super crazy important, this first sentence right here. If you get the first sentence right, and you do a good job with that, then the rest of the paragraph is going to fall into place. But if you get off on this first sentence, then you're going to be off in Siberia for the rest of your paragraph. All right? So here in the very first sentence, this is what you write. The author uses a literary element from the cheat sheet, it's in the folder, to show the theme, and then you got to write what the theme is. Okay? So how do we know what the theme is? Let's do a little review. If you've got your writing book, I want you to turn to page 104. 104. Ooh. Has that been up there very long? What is that? The pink thing over there. Go away. Magic remote. All right, page 104. Page 104. if you've got a pen or a highlighter handy, then I want you to highlight this top paragraph on page 104, and I would write the word theme over here on the side. This is a good review of what a theme is, right here at the top of page 104, theme. All right, I would bracket it out. I would write theme on the side so that you know, why have I highlighted this information? It's because it tells you what a theme is, okay? What a theme is. Do I have a volunteer to read this to us? Don't be shy.
What page is it?
104 at the top. Thank you, AC. Read to us. It begins, what is a theme? Let's review.
What is a theme? It's the author's purpose, meaning, or message. It's the lesson, sometimes the moral, or the reason for writing. It's the controlling or central idea of the work. It reveals some truth about life or the human condition. Make no mistake. Almost all authors have an agenda, a purpose, or something they want to persuade you to believe. I do. I'm writing this book to teach you how to analyze literature, but also to think about what you read.
Okay, and you can just stop right there. So I'm going to even go one further for you. And I'm going to come around. I'm going to give you, if you have a sticky note, you can get a sticky note out. I want you to put it on page 104 with it sticking up like this and write theme so that you've got it right here in your book. If you don't have a sticky note, I can bring you one. Need one? I want you to hang it off the page. Hang it off the page and write theme so that when you close the book, it's hanging out like this. All right? You can put it at the top or you can put it at the side. Write theme and you stick it right there on page 104 so that you can remind yourself what theme means when you go to write. When you go to write about your paragraph for the test. All right, this is what a theme is. What were some of those words that AC read that tells us what a theme is? Just call them out.
Moral.
Moral. What else? That's good.
Message.
Message.
Control.
The controlling or central idea. Yes. What else?
Reason,
The reason. Purpose. Agenda. Yeah. Oh, that's one of your vocabulary words coming up. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. All right. So those are what you think about when you think about theme. All right, turn to page 105. Page 105. So here is how you can find the theme of any story. And you'll have to do that for the test. Here's this story that I've linked, Christmas Day in the Morning. You'll read it. How are you going to know what the theme is? All right, so here's one of the ways that you can do that. So do you see, jump down kind of towards the bottom, it says an easier way. Do you see where it says that, an easier way? All right, so Andrew, can you start reading right there where it says an easier way, please?
Along the way, I learned a straightforward method to find a theme. I'd like to credit the person who originally thought this up. It wasn't me, but I've seen it in so many places and in so many books that I'm not sure whom to thank. It's a 3-step process.
Keep going. Yeah, you're doing great. Keep going.
In the first step, answer a simple question. The story's about blank. Think of a 1 or 2 word answer for the blank. And remember, a story might contain multiple things, so there may be more than one answer. Try for the gift of the Magi.
All right, so let's do that. The gift of the Magi is about, what was it?
The concept of gift giving.
Gift giving. Okay, so let's just make a list right there in the margin. It's about gift giving. What else? Sacrifice. Yes. What else? Other thoughts? Don't think about this. I know that looks like
The beach.
who wants to be there? Oh, we would much rather be here in grammar class. Oh,
The curve.
Rose, I know you don't want to be there.
I'm going to that.
I'll say Europe.
I know you don't want to be there. Don't think about Europe. Who wants to be in Europe when you can be right here in grammar
I
class?
want to be in your.
All right, the gift of the Magi. We've got it's about gift giving. It's about sacrifice. Any other thoughts
Christmas.
about true meaning of Christmas, which would be
True meaning. Giving.
giving.
Yeah, you kind of said that.
We did sort of say that love, right? Okay. You guys are like love. Ugh. All right, that's okay. All right. So the first thing you ask yourself, the name of the story. What is that about? What is the word or phrase that comes to your mind? Okay. Let's do one off the top of your head, and then we'll keep going in the book. What about Finding Nemo?
Wait, what are we supposed to say?
What is it about? What is Finding Nemo about? What is the word?
Finding Nemo.
What is it about?
Father-son relationship.
Father-son relationship. What else?
You trust a blind woman.
Meaning.
Wait, you trust. you trust a random lady. She'll lead you to your son.
But she has short-term memory loss, so that's not good.
All right. Well, keep thinking bigger picture. Finding Nemo is about
Trust.
trust. Okay. About what comes to your mind?
We're just a small fish in the big ocean. Well,
Making your way as a small fish in the big ocean. Okay. What about this one? What about this one? How about, or one of you have an idea?
Incredibles.
The Incredibles is about, what's the word, phrase that comes to your mind?
Family.
Family. How about the importance of family? Right, that's a little more descriptive, right?
Stay together.
All right, about families depending on each other, families sticking together in trouble.
Leave your kids behind for safety.
Jack, Jack.
All right, one more. Who's got an idea?
Toy Story.
Toy Story. We're gonna, Toy Story. Toy Story is about
Staying together.
Living.
Friendship.
staying
Toy.
together. Friendship
Yeah.
is about what?
Your toys are alive.
Side note, did any of you ever think, wow, that would be really cool if my toys came to life?
I was praying to God that didn't happen.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Like to try to catch them. You're like, oh, they're not. They're just sitting there.
I had a friend who gave away all her stuffed animals after she watched that because she was sad that she couldn't give them equal love.
She really was affected by this movie. Okay. All right, turn the page. Turn to 106. I'm gonna have. Oh, this is terrible. These pictures up here. Don't wish you were there. Who wants to be there? All right, page 106. All right, so step one, you got to think, what is that about? All right, what's the story about? At the top of page 106. So for the gift of the Magi, here are some suggestions. Rose, read us what that list says there. The whole list, baby.
Poverty, giving, generosity, love, sacrifice, selflessness, biblical truth, foolishness, rashness, material possessions.
All right, and we thought of gift giving, right? True meaning of Christmas, right? Now, the second step, here it is, the second step. Josh, read to us what the second step is right here.
The sentence or like
That whole sentence. The second step in finding the theme.
in finding the theme is to form a sentence using one or more of your words to create a complete sentence that conveys a universal truth or abbreviation about life.
Yeah. So you want to broaden it from, like, Toy Story is about friendship. So the second step is, well, let's broaden that a little bit and create a sentence that is a universal truth, right? It would be true for anybody, right? Not just, like, what if you've never seen Toy Story? Okay. Could you communicate, well, this is what Toy Story is about to a person who never saw it? It should be universal. It's true for everybody. So if we expanded that, we said Toy Story is about, now let's expand friendship to a sentence or more of a complete specific thought. like,
Caring for each other.
especially people that maybe at first you did not like. Remember?
Yeah, like Buzz and
Woody did not like Buzz at first.
building relationships.
About what?
Building relationships.
Sure. Friendships that building relationships with people that perhaps you don't know very well at first, or maybe you don't like very well. Isn't that a little more specific to Toy Story than just friendship? Right? So that's what your second step is. So you think, all right, here's what the theme of the story is. This is what it's about. Now expand on that a little bit and make it a little more specific what you're talking about. Friendship is very broad, but building friendships with people that you're not familiar with, that's more specific. Okay? And then there's the third step. Jacob, read the third step for us.
I actually did not have.
Oh, you don't have it. That's right. That's okay. Caitlin.
The third step is to check your sentence against the story's characterization and plot structure. In the above list, the last entry, poverty produces sorrow, does not fit. Certainly, Della cries because she can't buy Jim an appropriate present, but she overcomes this obstacle. By the end of the story, she is cheerful and happy with her man. While the other sentences do accurately present the themes, this one does not.
All right. So read some of the. Oh wait, never mind. Look down here to the bottom where this little bullet is, and this is the theme that she finally landed on. 2 people sacrifice. Read that for us.
2 people sacrifice their most prized possessions to express their love for one another.
All right, and so that perfectly describes what that story is mostly about. All right, which is a little more specific than just saying it's about sacrifice. That's a good start, but we want to expand on that to a sentence. All right, that is a little more specific to what that story is. All right, so turn to page, let's do this together. Turn to page 107 down at the bottom. Let's do the necklace. This is our last thing, and then we're done. The necklace. We just read the necklace, right, a couple weeks ago. You did your essay on it. Your essays are fantastic. I'll have those for you back this week. But let's do the necklace. Step 1. What is the necklace about? We're going to write these in. We're going to do this practice together. So words or phrases that come to your mind. What's it about? Contentment. Yeah, write that in. Contentment. What else?
What page? 107?
Yeah, 107. It's down here at the bottom. See where it says the
Oh,
necklace?
yeah.
Yeah, the necklace is down here at the bottom. We're doing step 1. So we have contentment. What else is it about?
A woman's desires for materials.
Materialism. Yeah, materialistic. Right, materialism. Yeah. What else?
Foolishness.
Foolishness. I'm thinking of a big one. Yeah.
Dishonesty.
Dishonesty is a good one. There's one that begins with the letter P.
Pride.
Pride. Yeah. Any others? What about one that begins with the letter J?
Jealousy.
Jealousy. Envy. Okay. All of those would fit. All right. And any you could make a sentence with any of those to fit the theme here. So let's do that for number 2. Choose one of those and write a sentence about it. Put it into a complete sentence. Choose one of those, the one that you like the most. And you're going to put it into a complete sentence. You could start it off. The theme of the necklace is, it could be something as simple as that. Or Matilda learns this. That could be the theme as well. You're going to put it into a complete sentence. All right. We have a couple of examples. AC.
I put
Matilda, the math girl.
Matilda learns how important the truth is in the story.
Yes. How important it is to tell the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Caitlin, what did you put?
The theme of the necklace is materialism.
Yes. How could you expand that? Put Matilda into your sentence. Yes. I love that you use materialism. Expand that a little bit. Laura, what did you write?
Matilda learns how to be careful with items of importance.
Jacob.
Matilda learns to let go of pride.
What did the pride do for her in the story?
Caused her many years of poverty.
Okay, so Matilda learns that by holding on to pride, it can cause pain. Yep. Did you expand it a little bit?
I think.
Let's hear it.
Matilda learns to not put objects first.
Yeah, materialism. Okay. All right. So for your test, you have to write a paragraph. I've already unloaded this thing. You'll just have to trust me. It's all on the paper. It's 8 to 10 sentences. I tell you exactly what I want each sentence to be. But make sure, if you have any question about the theme, make sure, come back to this. Remind yourself, this is what a theme is. It's got to be the overall message, purpose, agenda of the whole story. All right? And you have to choose a literary element. Where do you get those?
The cheat sheet.
The cheat sheet. It's in the folder. Maybe imagery, maybe characterization. You get to choose. All right? But make sure that whatever you choose points to the theme. Okay? That's very, very important. If you have any questions about that, you can always email me or text me and I'll get back to you. I don't mind answering questions about this, but you can't ask me questions about your test. Okay? All right. You guys have been great today. Please don't leave me alone next week. Come next week. We'll have one more grammar class for the year together. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon, even though you won't be in grammar anymore. The highlight of your day is done. I know, it's all downhill from here. Try to be happy. Try to stay up. You guys have a good rest of your day. Bye. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for remembering to return that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Great to have you back, Caitlin.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Oh my goodness, I forgot about the spray in the tables.
I'll do all of them.
Can any of you stay?
Yeah.
I have paper towels. I forget. Oh my goodness.
I have to stay for an hour anyway.
Do you? That's right.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I always forget this. I think this thing is still going.